Hi, everybody. Angel here. I hope you're doing great. And today I'm super excited to speak with Tammy. And we'll get started very soon. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Hope you are enjoying your beautiful day today. I know it's a big day for a lot of people, celebrating their relationships, either with their partners or with themselves or with nature, animals, the planet, whatever they're sharing. It's a big day all over the world. So I hope you're enjoying it. And we will get started super soon. I'm going to see if I can get
Hey, at work.
Hi there.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
How
How
are
are you?
you?
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you too, and everybody who's going to join us. Thanks so much for taking the time. And I want to say a big shout out to the Vegan Business Tribe because it's through them that I met you. Shout out to Lisa, David, and their soon to come baby. So there we go. So I was really excited to learn about Mindful Divas or the Mindful Diva. You can kind of guide me through how best to refer, but I did pin your Instagram page down at the bottom, and of course we'll get into a bigger conversation soon. But yeah, thanks so much, Tammy, for taking the time. And I know we have a lot to discuss and to jump into, so I think we'll just get started. I see people are starting to join, so thanks for joining. And Tammy, would you please tell us a little bit about your plant-based vegan journey, how you started and how you ended up to where
Sure.
you are
So
today,
I've been
please?
vegan for about 5 years. And before that, I was vegetarian from when I was a child. So I was vegetarian from age about 11. And then I think it was about 5 years ago where I learned a lot more about the dairy industry and the egg industry. It was a friend of mine who'd become vegan and she was sharing a lot of information with me. And so at that point, I decided to do veganery. So I actually did that, just stuck to being vegan after that.
Wow, that's a good testimonial for Veganuary. I love that. Yeah, I also I wasn't vegetarian since childhood, but I tried to go vegetarian. I did for a while when I was in university, my first year, but there was a little bit of hand wringing and concern that I just wasn't getting all that I needed to get as nutrients and the cultural divides and everything. And I caved and I went back to eating everything for about another 10 years or so. And then I switched over to vegetarian for the following 20 plus years. And then I became vegan. So I can definitely understand that it's a journey. And could you share with us maybe one or two changes that you experienced when you did switch over
I
to
think
the
in
vegan
terms of
lifestyle?
my diet and my health and things like that, not a lot really. It wasn't a huge change because I've been vegetarian so long. It was just cutting out a few more things. But I think I really started to embody the whole lifestyle in a bigger way, like things like not having leather, being really careful to only buy vegan cosmetics, and to really feel more in line with my own values. So being vegan became more of a kind of identity for me, and I actually do some activism as well, and just really getting into animal rights on a deeper level than I had before.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that because a lot of times we do focus on our personal physical health. And while I personally did also experience some physical improvements, I do feel that I'm more compassionate towards animals and even to other human animals and non-human animals, and also you just like more aware of like how we even treat nature. So I'm glad you kind of extended it. And I also look at this as a lifestyle from head to toe, clothing, furnishing, skincare, beauty care, travel, entertainment, everything. So
And
I can relate to what
it
you're
really
saying. So thank you
plays
for
into that we were talking about earlier when we were emailing, is right through into dating, because I did used to date people who ate meat as well when I was vegetarian. Actually, I used to be married. My husband ate meat, but I was vegetarian. But at this point, since I've been single the last around about a year, I've made the decision to only date vegans as well. And so I know that you also are only dating vegans, right? I hope you don't mind me sharing that.
I don't mind. I'm glad you brought that up. It is so interesting. It's as if you were like listening to my interview yesterday on someone else's platform about love. And I ended up saying, for the first time, I think, on the air, I ended up sharing that I was with someone for about, more than half my life who was, we were different in many ways. And one of the ways was I became vegetarian, pescatarian during our relationship. And so he was still eating what we call meat and I was not. And so, yeah, that was a big difference. And then I was also sharing, that, I prefer, my position now is I only want to date a vegan. And maybe it's because I'm in midlife and I'm not a 20-year-old anymore. I just don't feel like I have forever and a day to figure this out. And so I was sharing that, yes, I have decided that I only want to date vegans. And I know I had shared that with you in an email and you were, giving me some tips there and some, I don't know, I felt a little bit more motivated and inspired after our emails. So I want to thank you for that because, it is a tricky topic. And we can kind of dip in and out of that as we talk, but yeah, it's quite interesting. And I know that you are an expert in this arena, and we'll get a little bit deeper into that. And so that kind of takes me to your whole I guess presence. Now tell me if I should refer to your program as the Mindful Diva or
Oh yeah,
Mindful
so
Divas.
my company is called the Mindful Diva, and Mindful Divas is just my Instagram because the Mindful Diva had already gone. So
Okay, great. So the Mindful Diva. So please tell us about the Mindful Diva. When was it created? Why was
So
it
I trained to
created?
be a mindfulness teacher about 3 years ago. I'd had quite a big mindfulness practice myself for about 10 years before that. And I actually really got into mindfulness myself when I went through a divorce. I went through like a really stressful time of my life and I was struggling to cope, lots of different issues, financial issues, housing issues, becoming a single parent, everything else. And at that time, I needed something to help me with stress. And that's when I discovered meditation. So it was a real journey for me from then. And then eventually, I decided that I would love to share that by training to become a teacher myself. So for the last few years, I've been teaching courses which are for women mainly, and sometimes men as well, who are having stress, anxiety, and also chronic health issues and pain as well.
Wow. And the word diva. Now, that word, at least on this side of the pond in the US, I don't know about your side of the pond over in Europe, but over here, the word diva is a little tiny bit controversial and a little tiny bit, shall we say, not so well seen for women. And sometimes it can be used against women, or it can also be used as a slight insult, if you will. I personally have come to love the word diva. I personally have been trying to embody the word diva, which is more challenging for me. And my question to you is, why did you decide to use the specific
Yeah,
word
I
of
love that
diva?
you're trying to embody diva. And I think it's probably for the reason that you're doing that, that to me, diva is about owning your desires. It's about owning who you are. It's about being strong, because we hear about these women that are called divas. What springs to mind is like J-Lo or Mariah Carey. And,
Yeah.
whatever, spring
Yes.
water or all these things. And I love those kind of women. And I just think it's wonderful to own your power in that way. So with my business and what I try to do, there's two sides to it. So the mindful side is about the kind of meditation, the peacefulness. And I think the kind of image of that, when you hear mindful, it's this kind of yogi or monk, Buddha, whatever. But then the diva side is your boundaries, and the diva side is like your strength and your presence in that way. So it's really bringing together those two sides, and and that's what I help people to develop.
I love that. And now for me personally, the mindful part, because I also have a beautiful meditation practice. I wish I would dedicate more time to it, to be honest with you. Um, the whole deep breathing and chanting, those are beautiful practices, and journaling. And I have found through, I can't really tell you, like, it's probably between the deep breathing and the meditation. Well, the chanting is powerful too, but I found a lot of self-love within this practice. Now, I know that help women who are, 35 plus, who've been through a divorce or a breakup. What are some of the challenges that you help women to, I guess, face and handle and overcome with the mindful
Yeah, so
diva,
I
or through the
just
mindful
want
diva?
to acknowledge your meditation practice, by the way. That's wonderful that you have that practice and that it's helped you develop self-love in that way. So yeah, at the moment I'm running a free course which is for women over 35 who have gone through a divorce or breakup. um, and the reason I'm doing that is exactly what I shared, that it was really when I went through a divorce that I got illness. And I just feel called to kind of offer that to people who are having difficulties like I went through, because I just think it's so important as single women, that we really embody this self-love, that we be strong, that that we believe that we're deserving and worthy of love. And it's just something I'm really passionate. So that's why this is actually the first time I'm offering a course like this, which is specifically for single women, but it's something that I just really wanted to offer.
Yeah, well, I want to applaud you for that. Firstly, because maybe, I mean, I'm guessing that, what we call, like, women who are like either approaching midlife in their 30s, or they're already kind of over that threshold and they're in midlife, like me. I'm guessing that a lot of times there's not so much focus on maybe older women, of course, nowadays, I would say in the last decade or so, for sure, there's more and more focus. I do want to applaud you for that. I guess, what I'd love to hear too is, like, maybe some of the specific challenges that, let's say, a divorcee or after a breakup, some of the specific challenges that you've seen that some of us are
Yes. So I just
experiencing.
want to clarify, first of all, that I'm not a dating relationship expert or coach. My area of genius really is mindfulness and self-love. But I think one of the things that can happen is that when we go out onto these apps and start using them, we can take it really personally what happens, because we're going out into an arena where there's all sorts of different people. Yeah, there are scammers, there are weird people, there are want to give us what we want, or they want different things to us. And I think to have this kind of thick skin as we go into it, and that really comes from having this strong foundation of self-worth, and not allowing the way that somebody else treats you or what happens out there to mean anything about you, because it doesn't. So I think this can be one of the problems that women sometimes face, is they're going onto these things, and then when they don't get what they want through it, they may be seeing that they're not worthy, or there must be something wrong with me because I'm not getting the results, or because obviously as we get older, more of our friends are in relationships and they're married, so it's not the same as when you're 20 and everybody's single and you're going, like, it's quite a different feeling. And so I think that yeah, it's being able to know that you're worthy, no matter what happens there. And I really think that's the energy that you want to put out into the world, so that you can attract somebody who's going to treat you like a queen, and you don't settle and you don't take anything less than that.
Yeah, well, thank you for saying that because I mean, well, as I said earlier, being in midlife, I feel like I don't have forever and a day to figure this out. However, I think that's a slippery slope because a lot of times what that could mean is that one would settle, one would rush into a relationship, one would, take less than one is happy with. Oh, we're getting a big yes there. Getting a big yes there from the audience. And so I think what is beautiful and powerful about what you're doing is you were saying, ladies, listen, yeah, you're getting up there in age, as they say. However, that doesn't mean that you have to just take the crumbs, that you have to just take whatever is thrown at you because you feel like you're washed up, you don't have any other options. So I really appreciate your approach to this. I also wonder if you encounter like women who have some resistance to this, who are in such a rush to find love that sometimes perhaps they may resist this, or maybe it's just a pattern that we have, it's familiar for us to do this over and over and over again. And so these patterns are very difficult to break sometimes. I'm just
Sorry,
wondering what
which
your
pattern do
thoughts
you
are
mean
on
there?
that. Patterns of settling, of taking the crumbs, of maybe tolerating certain behaviors from guys who, don't have our best interests in mind.
Yeah, I think that when we do that, it doesn't work. It doesn't work out because that is not your person. And also it doesn't work out because it doesn't make you feel good, and everything should be making you feel good. And we all know that when we're getting involved with somebody who isn't treating us the way we want to be, that doesn't make us happy. So it's really about putting your own self-love and your own needs above being with somebody else, so that you're not compromising. And I think it really comes down to only dating vegans as well. It's part of the same thing in a way, because I know some people who are vegan and they're sort of thinking, well, it's
Yes.
really hard to meet someone vegan. Maybe I can just get someone that I can try and change them over and things like that. And it's being able to say, I deserve this, and this is what I want, and to hold out for it. And there's a certain part of that which means that there's a fine line, because on the one hand, you want to feel in yourself that you are really happy with your own life and with yourself as you are, but at the same time, still honoring your desire to meet somebody and still believing that it is possible for you. Because I also met people as well who kind of have almost gone the other way, where they're shutting out love, where they're saying, oh, I don't need that, I'm happy on my own, I've got my home and my job, and I can't be bothered with all of that. You're laughing, is this relating to you?
I am being told that is what I am doing.
I think it can be something, because we just think,
Oh.
well, who needs, a relationship? But really, if we're honest with ourselves and we look into our heart, I think probably everybody on the planet does want love. So it's just being able to stay in a place of, on the one hand, not settling, and on the other hand, still being honest that we want to find somebody, and we're able to take that time and recognize it could take a bit of time, but it's worth the wait to bring somebody who enhances our life, who makes our life better, who makes us smile, who brings something to our life, because that's what relationships should be all about.
Yeah, no, that was beautiful. Thank you for saying that. Oops, oops, oops. Yeah, I think I kind of slipped into some of that, shall we say, thinking pattern. I want to say hi to everybody who's joining. Please put your questions and comments down below for Tammy. She'll be happy to answer. If you want to use the question icon, that's super cool as well. It's either way. Just put it in the comments or the question mark. Thank you for joining. So Tammy, in your 4-week course, which I have signed up for. I I'm looking forward to it. I am wondering, so if a person, let's say a single woman, in your course, she's like, I don't know, she's still looking for love, and she's a little bit impatient. What is it that she is going to learn or pick up in your course that will help her to, I don't know, stay the course and not give up and basically I would say understand, like I know you have these goals and messages to impart upon us, and my question then is like, I guess how is it that you're going to really kind of pacify this either apathy on one end or this rush on the other end? Like, how are you gonna like maybe help us to get centered?
Sure, the course isn't
in our
about
approach.
finding a partner, and it's not about how to do that. So,
No.
there could be women coming in who've just had a breakup and maybe they're not feeling ready to get back out there again. There could be people who want to work on themselves for a bit and get into that right place. And there could be people who really want to find somebody. So regardless of any of those things, it's really about your sense of worth in yourself, and that's what we're going to be working on in the course, about how to feel really happy with yourself and bring in self-love. So that's more what I'm going to be focusing on. But to answer your question, I think for people who are looking for relationships and are looking for love, it's belief. It's believing that it's possible for you and being able to embody that and realize that you are just as worthy as the next person, as the next woman, and that is possible for you. And I think that's what I'll be helping people to get.
Wow, that's beautiful. Oh wow, that's really powerful, because I think there's this famous quote by Rumi, and it goes something like, seek not love, seek the impediments to love. And there's someone who has repeated that to me a couple of times, just to kind of help me to frame the whole scenario, and the whole energy of this seeking love. And I think what you are doing is you are addressing some of the impediments. It's so interesting you're saying it like that, the way you said it, because yesterday in that conversation I was referencing about love and all of that I was having on air with someone else on their platform. I was saying basically, because she asked me something like, what do you think are, I don't know, like the keys to a successful relationship or something like that. And I said, well, yeah, mutual respect and communication is super important. And I also said, also self-love. And I know that it sounds cliche that you have to love yourself first before you love somebody else. But I've learned this, that, if you don't have self-love and self-worth, it's going to be super duper hard to, really, really love somebody in a conscious way, and, with an awakeness and an awareness that will actually, I think, take the relationship, long haul. And I really like that you're really, 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 really focusing. You're like laser zoom focus on the whole aspect of self-love. And it reminds me of, like, on an airplane, they say, well, put your mask on first before you try to help other people. And as I was thinking about all of this, this morning, I was like, oh my gosh, can you imagine someone on an airplane running around with no mask on, trying to help other people way, way down the aisle? They're trying to help people, and they're like crashing themselves. They're like falling because they don't have oxygen, but they're trying to help so many other people. And I think it relates to what you're doing, that you are, filling the cup and raising the oxygen level in women, so that, then we are better equipped, quote unquote, to go out there
Yeah, I
and
love
find our
that
match.
analogy, and it's yeah, just such a classic image. And I've been speaking to women over the last couple of weeks, and I think one of the things, you know, that the women, we do tend to be kind of carers, you know, whether we might be looking after children or, you know, other people, other family members, and a lot of women tend to put themselves um, last, you know, and to push their needs aside. So that's again going to be something that I'm really going to be looking at within the course, is about self-care and put yourself as a number one priority. Sorry, my daughter's just walked in and she's sitting here distracting me.
No worries, no worries. That's beautiful. And let me ask you a question. So, you and I are vegan. Some people in our communities are vegan, some people are not. So, anyone listening to this at some point, does a woman need to be vegan to participate in your
No, they
course or
don't. I do
courses?
have some lovely vegan people joining, and you know, I've had people on my courses before, but actually, everything I do is open to everyone. I think mindfulness is really aligned with being vegan because um, when you become more
Yes.
aware and more mindful about how food is produced and where it's coming from and things like that, it really yeah, encourage you to be more thoughtful about what you're consuming things.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you on that. But I did think it was important to ask you the question. I kind of knew the answer already. Of course, I knew the answer, but some people may be wondering, oh my gosh, do I have to be plant-based? Do I have to be vegan to join, Tammy's courses? And, and I figured the answer
No,
was
so
no, but I wanted
I
you to
am
share
vegan,
that.
but to
So,
join the course, you don't have to be.
exactly, exactly. And I'm wondering, this whole topic that you and I had gone through in our introductory email, when I was telling you, yeah, I've kind of decided to, only want to date a vegan. And I'm wondering if you go into any types of dating tips or approaches, shall we say. I know, of course, you're focusing on the woman herself, on her filling her cup, on her embodying her own energy. These are just my words, but are you also dabbling a little bit into like different dating approaches, or is it more so that, once we are, I guess at our best, then we will naturally attract, almost like the law of attraction type
Yeah,
of
it's
a
not
model,
just
if
so
you
much
will?
about just attracting, but it's also about just the energy you bring when you're going on to these apps and things. I think if you go into it feeling quite vulnerable and quite affected by what happens on it, you'll soon burn out. You just give up and just think, oh, I can't be bothered with this. So it's just being able to be in that place where you can go onto dating apps, you can go out on dates, and you can meet guys, but you don't make it mean anything about yourself. You don't make it, it's not about that they need to validate you for you to be happy. So it's being able to, and if you can keep that separate from your sense of self-worth, then that's going to really help you with meeting somebody, because you're not going to just burn out and waste of time and give up.
Yeah, well, thank you for saying that. So I'm going to share something that I haven't shared yet, but I was going to share it this week since we're in the Valentine's energy here this week, and that is, so I have so many dating apps on my phone now. I don't know, like my little square there on my phone is like pretty full, and so I am on like I just joined Tinder and Hinge. Then I was on Bumble before, and then I was on Vegly and Grazer before, and then I also last summer joined Veggie Connection. And it's very, very interesting what you're saying, because there have been times when, after like either having a video chat, and I'm in several Facebook single groups for vegans. Okay. So there are like four groups or so on Facebook for vegan singles. So I'm in those two. And it's very powerful and interesting and pertinent to me anyway, which means it's probably pertinent to a lot of other people, males, you know, however you identify, men or women. And a few times after, let's say, a video call, or, you know, I had this like one Bumble date in person, you know, a couple months ago, since people were kind of emerging from the whole lockdown situation or whatever. And it is true that there have been times when I was like, oh my gosh, this is too difficult. I don't want to do this anymore. I did have two scammers on one particular, you know, app. So I was like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. Oh, you can't trust anybody. And so I do, I can relate to what you're saying. Like, it's so easy to throw in the towel. And I actually told someone recently, I'm going to throw in the towel, I think. And they were like, no, don't throw in the towel. No. And so, you know, I just wanted to tell you that because I think it really connects to what you're saying and what you are trying to help women to, you know, deal with.
Yeah, sure. So you've decided to stay on the apps then, have you? Keep going.
I recently got back on. I didn't really want to. I was just like, no, it's too much. It's just too much, you know? So yeah, I kind of limit myself. I set a timer actually sometimes, and I just say, okay, I'm just going to spend like 10 minutes on them. And that's probably not enough, but you know, it's just, to me anyway, it just feels a little bit overwhelming. So I think what is beautiful about your approach is that it's not so much what's happening like outside of us, if you will, on these apps, or I don't know, we go to the grocery store and we see this cute guy and he doesn't see us, or he doesn't smile back, or whatever it might be. You know, we're walking down the street or whatever, you know, we see a cute person, or you know, they don't see us or whatever. So I mean, I guess, you know, what is beautiful about your approach is that it's not even about them. It's about us.
Exactly, yeah. And to what you were just saying about the 10 minutes a day, I think that's amazing because, you know, oh yeah, it's such a
Oh,
great way
really?
to do it because you've seen what your own boundary is, you've seen what works for you, and then you're having a consistent practice. It's a bit like meditation. You're doing it every day, you've got this consistent way of doing it, but it doesn't burn you out, and that works for you. So I think, you know, if that works for you, keep doing that.
Yeah, thank you. And I know on your profile on Instagram, for example, you do have, you know, a statement that you help, you know, single successful women, basically, you know, to find relationships, to find love. Without burnout, and I appreciate you bringing that up. I don't know if you wanted to comment on you know, the whole
Yeah, so the
burnout
thing in my
aspect.
profile is actually to help women shine their light in the world without burnout, and that's more to do with being able to put whatever's inside you out into the world, because we can't do that if we're exhausted. We can't do it if we put everybody else first and we're burnt out and so tired and we've got no energy. If we really want to be able to get our message out in the world, we've got to look after ourselves first. So, you know, like for you to be able to do your channel, to put your message out, you know, you've got to have the energy to do that so you can shine your light in the world. So that's what it's all about. So I help women at the level of bringing in mindfulness, bringing in self-care, and learning how to really look after and honor ourselves. And then once you've done that, then you can put more out into the world. So it's not selfish, and it's not just about you. It actually benefits the whole world and everybody around you as well.
Totally. Thank you so much for expanding on that. So, are there any other offerings or services that you wanted to
Yeah, so
mention at
I
this
run mindfulness
time?
courses. I've actually just started one now, so I won't be running another one of those for a while, but I do one-to-one coaching as well. And then the main thing that I'm kind of shouting about at the moment is this free course that I'm running for single women. So any single women watching, do sign up. Links in my bio, or just send me a message if you want to learn more.
Awesome. Let me pin that comment that I had, so they can see it down below. Links in our bios. Absolutely. All righty. And so, Tammy, what are the best ways for people to contact you for information, collaboration, questions,
Yeah,
comments,
so
etc.?
just send me a message through my Instagram, which is at Mindful Divas.
Fantastic. So before we wrap this up and have you put a bow on it for us, Tammy, I do want to thank you so much for joining us. I want to thank everyone who joined us. I see someone
Yeah,
here
I'm
is
so glad to
signing
have you.
up. So I will see you there. I know who that is too, but I won't call her name because I don't know if she wants anyone to know her name, but I will definitely see you there as well. So thanks for signing up. I've already signed up. And we can use all the help we can get. So thank you so much, Tammy, for running this course, for running all of your courses, all of your offerings. I want to thank everybody who joined, either live or on the replay. So Tammy, do you have any final comments for us before we wrap this up and put a bow
I
on it
just want to
for
say
us,
it was
please?
lovely to speak to you, Angel, and thanks so much for inviting me on today.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tammy. Yes. Okay. Well, I'll see you there. All right. So I'm gonna save this to my feed and my
Oh,
stories, and then I'll
oh, thank
message
you
you
so
after,
much. It's
Tammy.
been lovely to talk to you, and have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye.
Thank you. You too. Take good care. Bye bye. Bye, everybody.